Back again, continuing my reviews on the Nightmare on Elm Street series with Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors. Now this movie is a good one. This one came out, I believe, in 1987, so 2 years after the second one. This one also has the return of Heather Langenkamp from the first one. As Nancy Thompson. It also sees her father back, John Saxon, who plays Lieutenant Thompson. And it also has, obviously, Robert Englund returning as Freddy Krueger. Now, the writers on this story are Wes Craven, Bruce Wagner. Wes Craven did the screenplay for this one, along with Bruce Wagner. And Chuck Russell helped write it as well. Now, Chuck Russell was the director for this movie. I don't know of anything else that he did. This one's a pretty good one. It's actually one of my favorite ones. It's basically, it follows the story of this lady who's played by Patricia Arquette, and her name is Kristen Parker. Basically starts out with her, in a dream sequence, dreaming about Freddy Krueger. Basically her mom's like an alcoholic, and she walks in on her, and she's having a nightmare, and she's in the bathroom, and Freddy slits her wrist with his claws, and when she wakes up from the dream and her mom catches her in the bathroom and shows her slitting her own wrist with a razor blade. So her mom commits her into this psychiatric hospital known around in the Nightmare on Elm Street series is known as Weston Hills. Weston Hills makes another appearance later on in another Freddy movie. I believe it's Freddy versus Jason. Now, this one is a little bit more campier than the other two. Like I was telling you in the second review of the Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, that one, the first two of those are a lot darker. This is when they really started lightening Freddy Krueger up, letting him have a little bit more free reign. He got much more campier in this movie. He started busting out a lot more jokes. There's a scene in here where he's always got a lot of one-liners and stuff. But one scene I remember the most is where there's this girl in this Weston Hills psychiatric hospital for kids who, first of all, there's a bunch of kids in this place along with this Kristen Parker, who's our main character, basically. But there's all these other kids in there with her, and they all have the same thing in common. They all dreaming about Freddy Krueger. And but the scene I was talking about is with this girl that's in there with her. She smokes cigarettes while she's in there, and she burns herself in order for her to stay awake. And she's in the TV room, is what they call it, and she's in there watching TV, and she's nodding in and out and trying to fall asleep, and she's burning herself with the cigarettes to keep herself awake. Well, she ends up falling asleep, and then all of a sudden it goes to this interview with this guy on here, a talk show host or whatever, and he's interviewing some lady. I know her, but I can't think of her name offhand, but she's some famous, a Dolly Parton type. It's not Dolly Parton, but it's some girl like that, older actress. And he's having an interview with her, and then all of a sudden it switches to Freddy's inside the TV, and the girl's like, what the shit, So she walks up to the TV, and Freddy's head pops out of the top of the TV, and his arms come out and grab her, and he picks her up, and then he says, "Welcome to prime time, bitch." And it's just he's got a lot of funny one-liners like that, but that's probably my the most memorable one for me. Yeah, like I said, it centers around all these kids. They're all having dreams about Freddy. They do like these group therapy sessions with their doctor, and then there's like another doctor who's played by this lady, and I forget her name, that doctor, but she's really a bitch. Uh, yeah, Dr. Elizabeth is her name, and she's just a super bitch. She doesn't believe any of the kids are having like, she just doesn't. She just feels like there's got to be some kind of other explanation for it. She doesn't believe the kids that they're, dreaming about this guy, and the other doctor that's a good guy is Craig Wasson, I think is his name. I'm probably butchering that name, but he plays Neil Gordon in this movie, and Dr. Neil or Dr. Gordon, and yeah, and then they're in this hospital for a while, and and Heather Langenkamp's Nancy Thompson's character ends up showing up, and apparently she's been studying medicine too, especially like the dream aspect of it, because she comes into this hospital and she's like a new psychiatrist or whatever for these kids. And pretty soon she finds she's listening to these kids talk, and she's like, what the hell, I thought I killed this guy, and he's coming back, and he's terrorizing these kids. And so she comes in and she tries to help him. This other lady that's a doctor, she really doesn't want anything to do with it, but she comes in and she tries to she becomes good friends with this Dr. Gordon, and those two together really try to help these kids out. Patricia Arquette is the Kristen Parker character, and she's like our the main girl that the story centers around, really. And she's got this unique power about her. She's able to like go into dreams, and when she feels like she's in trouble or she needs help, she can pull other people. She can pull other people into her dreams, and so that's her like unique power. She can pull other people into her dreams to help her, which is pretty cool. And then Heather Lane or Nancy Thompson figures this out, and she thinks it's really cool. There's a lot of good kills in this movie, a lot of good scenes. They all end up basically ganging up on Freddy and figuring out their dream powers at the end, and taking him out eventually. Takes quite a while. Freddy kills a lot of people in this movie, so he gets really strong. And apparently, the more people he kills, the stronger he gets, and it's harder to kill. Yeah, what else? What else can be said about this movie that really hasn't been said already? It's a good one. It's a really good entry into the series. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. If you've never seen it before, definitely give it a look. Special effects in this movie are good. It's got good kills. It does get a couple scenes are kind of cheesy. You get one kill where this kid who can't talk, and he was like traumatized as a kid or something, and he can't talk, and he's got the hots for this nurse that works there, and he like falls asleep, and he's dreaming that this nurse like basically wants him, and so he follows her into this room, and it looks like they're gonna get it on, and have fun, and the nurse turns into Freddy, and like he shoots fucking tongues out of his mouth, and like straps him to this bed, and it's a good one, but there's just parts of it that I think are cheesy in my opinion. I mean, it seemed like after the second one they really just started getting a little cheesy, but I like the cheese in this movie. This one and the next one, part 4, really didn't mind it. It was a really good mix between them, so they didn't ruin it for me. It was still good. So yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 and Dream Warriors. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. And that's the end of this one. My next review will be on Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master. Thanks.